everyone, and welcome back to the channel. I hope you're doing well. Today I'll be presenting a movie showcase on the Malibu Bikini shop from 1986. This is a sex comedy that lays it all bare. So let's head straight to the video store and dust off this outrageous little gem. The Malibu Bikini Shop is a 1986 sex comedy about two brothers who have graduated from college and wind up inheriting their late aunt's bikini shop. This is a very funny comedy, and back then this was a very popular renter. And this film is a little bit more than your stock standard sex comedy. It has more charm than just skin factor. Now, this film was written and directed by David Wechter, who had previously given us the offbeat Disney movie Midnight Madness, which featured an early role for Michael J. Fox. So by about the mid-80s, David was ready to tackle a movie of his own, and this film comes out of the starting gates with a lot of pop music, a splash of colour, women in bikinis, and offers loads of breezy entertainment. Now, this film didn't do great business at the American box office, but it did make its way around the world. It actually came to Australia, it played in Australian cinemas, and it did okay during the Christmas box office season. This was perfect entertainment during the Australian summertime period, and young people saw this in droves. Now, in Australia, they didn't market it as the Malibu Bikini Shop. They removed Malibu from the title and just went with the Bikini Shop. And they had a very basic marketing campaign, and they just showed a few models on the artwork in bikinis standing there. They had some nice text, a great little tagline, but they didn't show any of the leading actors. And I think what that did was make some audiences hesitant as to the quality of the film. Some just went, obviously, we know where this is headed. It's just a sex comedy with nothing to offer. That's how they're marketing it. But really, it was more than that. So I think they should have had an alternate piece of marketing art that showed the actors, that showed other aspects of this film. Who knows? Maybe they should have had a poster created by Drew Struzan. But there is more to this movie than just bikinis. There are some performances here. Now, when it comes to the cast, the two brothers are played by Michael David Wright and Bruce Greenwood. Now, this movie was Michael Wright's big claim to fame. He really didn't do much outside of this. I think he only has about a half a dozen credits back in the 80s. And this movie is really his first and only starring role. And I think as a first-timer, he does equip himself well. The other thing I'll say is that Michael reminds you very much of a young Bob Saget from Full House. And I think back in the day, people that rented this film thought they were watching a Bob Saget movie. So that's a funny little connection point. Anyway, his co-star Bruce Greenwood, who plays the other brother, he's rather wild and outrageous. And Greenwood is the layabout oddball who is cool enough to lure in the women and at the same time come up with grand schemes to save the bikini shop. So I think Michael David Wright and Bruce Greenwood make a delightful little combo team in this movie. And many people probably know Bruce Greenwood today. He's made a bit of a habit in recent years playing the president in movies. He was JFK in 13 Days. He also played a fictitious president in National Treasure 2, Book of Secrets, opposite Nicolas Cage. And in more recent times, he played the president in The Kingsman: Golden Circle. So it's a funny little thing that he's playing such a surfer boy slacker in this. And then later on, he plays the President of the United States. So Greenwood has some chops, and he really is rather likeable in this film. He does keep things moving along with a casual, offbeat style. And rounding out the supporting cast is the rather cute Barbara Horan. At the time, she was a working TV actress. She was in shows such as BJ and the Bear. And Deborah Blee is also in this film. She plays the fiancée of Michael David Wright, and she's a real domineering lady, but she adds a great comedic presence to the movie. I think she's extremely over the top, but her character is meant to come across as annoying, and she really takes that to the hilt. And Deborah at the time was in other cheap exploitation films like Hamburger, the motion picture, and also The Beach Girls. So she was actively pursuing little roles here and there. And veteran actress Kathleen Freeman also has a small role in this. You probably remember her. She has been in almost everything over the years, and she is just a very committed veteran. She has been in comedies like The Blues Brothers, where she played the nun opposite Aykroyd and Belushi in that memorable early scene where she's smacking them. And she also had a great little part in Dragnet, once again with Aykroyd, where she plays a disgruntled homeowner who Aykroyd pumps for information. So Kathleen Freeman does her little bit here. It's not a big role, but it's just enough to give this movie some more comedic spark. And another performer that I will mention is Galen Gorg. She's an actress slash dancer. She really throws herself into this film. She adds all of her dancing expertise to many moments. She is a rather refreshing screen presence, and her work in this film is a testament to her dance skills. At the time, Gorg had appeared in a couple of Cannon movies. She was in that futuristic film America 3000. She'd also done another Cannon film called Down Twisted with Carrie Lowell. But the Malibu Bikini Shop was really her breakout. She has a lot of standout moments, and it seems to me that because of her dance abilities, they threw in some music video type sequences, and Gorg really excels. And after this film, she was on TV, she was in Fame. She also appeared in that sitcom Hanging with Mr. Cooper, and she appeared opposite Will Smith in The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. And sadly, in 2020, she passed away from cancer. So a very sad loss, but she is highly memorable in the Malibu Bikini Shop. Every single time she steps onto the screen, she sparkles, and she just adds so much vibrancy to those dance moments. So this movie has a very interesting cast. It has a straightforward, agreeable premise, and it is just loads of fun. There are some great shots on the beach. The girls dance on a platform. The young guys go wild. It has a lot of comedic charm in the actual bikini shop. It has some beautiful women on display. I think really it gets the right ratio of laughs, heart, and that little bit of skin factor that young audiences wanted at the time. Remember, in the 80s, movies such as Porky's and Spring Break were big, and this movie has touches of that in it, but it does try to offer a bit more to a broader audience. But I think if you rented this film back in the 80s, you had a good time with it. And if you have forgotten about it, hopefully this has sparked those memories. This, in many ways, is the personification of a lost movie, as it's never made its way to DVD. It's not on Blu-ray. It'll probably never show up on 4K, and no one talks about it. So hopefully this has stirred your memory banks and you go and look for it. It must be out there somewhere. And I think what makes these films even more inviting is when they lay a great pop soundtrack on them. This one had a cool track called Looking. It had another song called Girls of Rock and Roll. So the film had some tunes to capture the youth market. It also had that splash of colour on the beach with all the bikinis. It was considered a good time movie. And I remember the first time that I ever rented it, I went into a video store and there was a young guy in there that was full of life, and he was encouraging people to hire this movie. He would say it's loads of laughs, it offers more than the case cover, Check it out. You'll have a good time with it. And I spoke to him about it, and I couldn't help but rent the tape. And sure enough, I took it home. This movie did make me laugh, and I've never forgotten it. And it does have some crazy sequences like the swing in the bedroom. It also has that memorable two-way mirror scene. And of course, the finale with the marathon on the beach where the girls are dressed in those homemade bikinis. And the swimwear actually disintegrates when water hits it because it's made out of leftover medical supplies and stitching. So the film does have memorable sequences in it. It also has some music video interludes that really pop. And there's a fun sequence where they're in these commando-style bikinis. So with its generic marketing approach of just basically throwing models on the cover art, it still did have a striking box in the rental store. It was a movie that young guys went, I wonder what that is, bikini shop. And when they rented it, they found out that it was a good time movie. So it never presented itself with a big cast, but it did have a cast lurking in its shadows. And I think it's a bit of a missed opportunity that they didn't hit it harder with a different marketing campaign. Nevertheless, this film still lingers in the memories. It's a good time blast, and I'm sure many of you hired it. So the Malibu Bikini Shop, a very fun film. It has some great songs in it, some cute performances, lovely women, and really, whatever happened to Michael David Wright? That is the question, and Bob Saget, he's not. Well, now it's over to you. Please share your thoughts and feelings on the Malibu Bikini Shop in the comments below, and keep a lookout for more episodes of Forgotten Video Rentals. Thanks for watching, take care, and I'll see you all again very soon.